very much for joining us. We are Banner and Chance. It's great to have you tonight. We are heading into some exciting times. Before we get into it and talk about where we've come from and where we are right now in the game, let's say hello to our party. Shady, can you kick us off?
Hello, I'm Shady. I play a runt. She is a young human rogue.
I'm Becca. I play Bee. She is a Shatterkai Twilight Cleric.
I'm muted. I'm Luna, and I play Geen. She is a human Kensei monk.
What's up, guys? I'm Noel, and I play Rook, who is a bard rogue.
Inkbar Rogue. Inkbard
Right.
Road. There you go. Rogue. Let's get that,
Let's
out of the way right now.
Starting us off early there, bud.
Absolutely. So, I guess we should talk about what happened last time on Banner and Chance 2 weeks ago. That's right. Last time on Banner and Chance, our party has seen its way across the north of Faerun. They've come down from the Moon Sea. They've traveled through the Sea of Fallen Stars. They found themselves carrying a payload of strange talking children that the people of Faerun had started referring to as croakers. These were similar to the children that they had, or one child that they had rescued from the island of Bertha. They were on their way back to this island when they were faced with a huge wall of fog, and aboard their now flying, glowing white ship of Selune named the Moon Maiden, they entered this dense fog. And as they contemplated where to go and what they were doing, they realized that in fact the ship itself was beginning to lose its glow. Emerging on deck, the sails in tatters, the ship began to careen or to arc down towards the earth. And just able to stop itself from plunging directly into the earth, it glanced off of hillsides, tore through forests, and left a deep dirt furrow, at which point the party found itself in the ship that was tipped over on its side. They were able to come out and look around to find themselves in the Shadowfell. This is a landscape that's familiar to Bees and Rook. As the party began to collect itself and the children that had been taken along emerged, several of them panicked and broke for a high rise. There we found Shatterkai waiting. Our party chose to turn and run. Several of the kids followed Runt, finding a bond with her. Our party lit into the low scrub forest that was behind them. And as they did and they turned around, atop one of the tilted masts of the Moon Maiden, they saw a familiar, ragged, black mist form and the shape of a flute-wheeling, Kozakuran-dressed bard sitting there. And this is where we will pick up in episode 30, which we are calling Freshly Squeezed Extra Pulp. From your vantage point through the trees, you see this flute-wielding bard glance around. He seems to be arcing his head, listening carefully for a sound or a clue. rumble of low thunder and howling wind. He sort of cocks his head back towards the direction that you are standing. Rook, you actually recognize this person from your time in Karathur's forces. This cackling individual that Luna and Runt you're familiar with, having seen him in the Grey Patriots camp outside of Harrowdale, licks his lips, holds still for a moment, and then vanishes into a swirl of black mist, ragged shadow. As that fibrous mass sort of falls away, you're left in the silence of what's around you. The parties of Shatterkai that had taken the Croakers prisoner have disappeared towards the town that you had seen before. It's directly north of your position here. Beyond that, you can see through the trees very clearly a sharp tower image set farther back on a hill from the town site itself, glistening black against this dull sky. And all of you, as you have a chance to see this rectangle standing out from the background, notice that it glows a purple glow at its base, probably about a quarter of the way up. You can't see much else that's below that at this distance, but you can definitely see that the hue is of black and purple, and that light, that low purple glow, is at the base. And here you find yourself. And I'll let you take it from there. Runt, what do we see you doing as you're standing among Clarissa Tuttle and 5 of the croakers that came with you from the ship, following your lead?
What are they doing?
They are nervously looking around, paying attention. They saw the flautist. They are looking up to you, wondering which way to go. One of them is examining the ground and seems to be tracking.
Okay. Runt is going to stroke her chin, like she's deep in thought, and make sure they see her.
The 4, other than Clarissa, the 4 that are watching you, the 5th is tracking on the ground, also look deep in thought and begin to stroke their chin, wondering what you're going to do next. Rook, Bees, Luna. Keen. Thank you. Cheers. Rook, you've seen this flautist before, as have you, Luna. Oh!
Man, one of these days.
As have you, Geen.
I thought you were going to go 3 for 3.
Technically, let's see.
The wind is howling. You're stuck in this scene.
Could I somehow figure out where we are in relation to, or could B and me figure out where we are in relation to the topography that we know? So we know where some landmarks are that we would know?
You are at a set of low foothills that border some of the Luhix farmland that lies to the south of a town site.
So tower, farm, foothills, or like right here kind of thing.
Foothills, where you are, farmland, farther north, town site, another low rise up to the tower and temple.
So if the tower's north, then we have to go. I can't remember if it's east or west. We're trying to look. We're trying to look for the nearest portal.
Okay.
Nearest
If I
cache.
remember correctly, I should have a map that I took with me when I left. I believe.
Okay.
Did you have a
Okay.
map of the portals in Faerun or in Shadow?
The Shadowfell map.
You are able to clearly see that you're about a kilometer south of the town. It crosses agricultural interests. Behind you, there is a topography that shows forests and low gullies. There's a low gully that's not 50 yards from your current position that cuts through this small hillside. That gully will arc to the east and then north, which will circle the easternmost border of the Luhix property, which turns into a road and a low rock wall.
Okay.
To the west, it is pretty much the forest you're in, and then directly to farmland. That continues on until the town site. The town site is sitting on an inland lake, not a terribly large lake. But as you regard it, you can actually see on that lake, and again, not a large lake, maybe a large pond by some standards, but let's say that it's a lake that's less than a kilometer across, 2 kilometers long. Large sea-going sails, 4 of them, are at a dock, which appears to be just beyond your view on the other side of the low buildings that make up the town site. Big ones. 3 masters.
Yeah, so I mean, we're heading in whichever direction we can figure out is the closest portal back,
And
wherever the nearest cache is.
So if that is your you don't know where there's a specific portal. You know that the fog wall that you flew through is behind you at this point.
Right. I don't think it's that necessarily that we want to just like leave. I think Rook's just looking for an exit if they need one. You know what I mean? Like something to get away, last chance kind of thing.
Okay.
You
do notice that when you are regarding this map, Bees, and you're looking up to match the landmarks that are around you. The tower as it sits, if this is a map that you had taken before you left, sits on an old ruin. The ruin was a temple devoted to Mask at the time. Or at least it was a ruin of a temple to Mask. As you're also comparing this, you see that one of the sails has now set out away from the town. You can see it moving across towards a thick gray wall of mist. And as you watch, that sail fades through the mist.
So it's fair to determine that that's the closest way out.
Potentially.
So I'll mark it on the map, just so we know. And then we should probably figure out where the cache is, so we have supplies, because I'm sure we
need
didn't.
to hide. We need to hide, and we need to lay low.
Yeah.
We need to get away from the ship to put some distance between us and.
In the valley, 50
this
yards.
whole thing.
The valley 50 yards behind you is a valley about 15, or a crevice about 15 feet deep. That is one of the places where you had stored a small bug-out cache back in the day, Rook.
Okay, so I'll just motion everyone that we're going that way and then start heading in that direction. But I'm not looking back to see whether they're following or not.
So before... Actually, no. I'm going to cast guidance, just in case he needs to do anything on his way there.
Okay.
You get
What
a
are the rest-
D4 for the next minute. Iron
Okay.
saves.
You begin to step east. So
Yeah.
southeast.
Yeah, southeast.
The Croaker who was looking at the ground and tracking seems to agree and falls in behind you. Geen, Runt, Bees, you see Rook begin to move.
I'm going to jog so that I am in front of the one that was following Rook and get in between. Like, this way, follow me.
And they do. They are two abreast, in two columns, two rows, quite militantly marching behind you at a jog.
Can we get in between, in and around the trees, so we're a little bit more obscured as well?
You're cutting through a low bluff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Geen and Bees.
I'll fall into step next to Rook.
Okay.
Taking up the rear with a knocked arrow, looking behind us constantly.
Okay. Goro is just directly behind. Well, he's between you and the party now, letting you take up the rear and sort of every once in a while glancing behind himself. Rogar is next to him as you begin to march, and it doesn't take long to clear this distance before you find the edge of this low escarpment. You're able to lower yourself down towards it. Quick perception roll, please, from Rook and Runt in the lead.
Pretty good at those. 16 plus 7. 23. Okay.
25.
Nice.
Both of you see movement to the east. There is a track at the bottom of this gully. This is in the direction of your cache, and it is following the bottom, and you believe you see movement somewhere among the rocks and the rock wall and the bush around this gully, this ravine.
Rook drops to the ground.
Okay. And Runt.
Runt is trying to stealth up close to kill whatever it is.
Okay. You continue to move forward. Bees, you come upon Rook. You can see him now prone or in a defensive stance.
Dropping to the ground and turning us invisible. The two of us invisible.
Okay. Rogar and Goro will hold at the edge of this. They're on the upper edge of this valley. They have not started down. Geen, you can see that they stop at the edge.
Right before B turns invisible, I just grab B's hand.
Okay.
If I can, I won't be able to see her after that.
Sure. Runt, you're moving steadily up this track, and you're able to see that there is now clear motion. People trying to be stealthy, but you can hear gravel shifting and rock shifting, and the odd little whisper that's bouncing off this cavern wall and off the paved track that's around it. You are now 30 yards ahead of Rook. Okay, heading down this gully. The gully begins to flatten out, and you can see that there is a low cave on one wall.
Now that we can see them, if they've kind of, now we can see their movement. Can we see how many there are, or
this is only visible to Runt right now.
Oh, okay.
I will say that Rogar and Goro are both straining to see. They can see Runt from the top, and they're looking beyond to see what they can see from their high perch. Geen, you're welcome also to take an eagle eye if you want. So.
Yeah, I'll take a knee and just keep watch.
Rogar begins to move quietly along the lip, trying to close the distance between him and Runt, using the upper edge of this valley. Runt, you see ahead of you 3 bodies lying in the middle of this what now appears to be a rough pathway. Those bodies are of Shatterkai. Okay. You smell just the wisp of what smells like a campfire that's been doused. And then you see a red-haired head about 20 yards beyond. And as soon as you see that there's another auburn-colored head next to it, and a hood-covered head across the track behind a rock.
Okay.
Now that we're invisible, I'm going to pull on B's hand a little bit to keep moving forward slowly, stealthily.
Okay. Where are you in relation to Runt at this point?
30 feet behind him, but moving toward where he is, or where she is, sorry.
All right. Your sense, Runt, is that there's something in the order, at least 5 to 7 people moving up ahead, trying to stay concealed.
Can I catch up while still remaining silent and hidden?
Yeah, they don't seem to be moving towards you. When I mean moving, I mean they're making the odd bit of noise. You are able to close the distance, and your first good view is of what appears to be a 9-year-old boy in a tunic, brandishing a short sword, and watching the ridge where Rogar is carefully. Next to him, an 11-year-old girl with a short bow. That bow is sort of scanning, but hasn't locked onto anything.
Then I will just wait to see what's going to happen.
All right. As you wait, Rook and Bees, you close the distance. You are now next to Runt, more or less, or as close as you choose to put yourself.
I'm gonna pass her and keep going forward until I'm maybe 10 feet behind. Is it behind or in front of the two that are looking at the ridge?
You are you're 10 feet behind Runt?
No, 10 feet behind, or 10 feet, or am I like behind the two that are looking at the ridge, with the bow and the short sword? Or
you can move behind them. Yep, you can move behind them.
I'll move 10 feet behind them.
Okay, so
then,
you do?
Now I can see that there's the 3 Shatterkai on the bodies on the ground there.
Yep.
Do they look like they're sleeping? Does it look like they're dead?
They're dead. You can also see that the people that have not seen you yet are children. By your count, there are, 6 to 7 of them pressed up against the rock, another wave of them up against the rock wall, and you can see some at the back of that low cave.
Are they talking at all, or are they whispering, or is there any kind of voice from them?
They're nervous. They're sort of readying weapons. There is some very low tones being whispered directly mouth to ear.
Does it sound croakerish, or does it sound regular?
It sounds croakerish, and there is goblin-laced thieves' cant being spoken, wondering who this is.
Okay, so I will try to inch my way back to where I first was sitting with B, and kind of feel around to my left and see if I can grab a hold of a body part, leg, arm, anything.
Okay.
And then if I get one, I'll just tap out on her hand or her leg that how many there are, that they all have weapons, and that they sound like croakers too as well.
Okay.
So I think that whatever it is, and that the 2 in front haven't seen anything yet, but I'm pretty sure
if they have, they're not letting. If they have, they're not letting. They're not doing anything with it.
And then I'll say I'm pretty sure they'll catch Rogar though if he moves, and that's it. And then I'll wait, see what happens.
And indeed, you can now, to your ears, you can hear the paladin in armor, trying to stay quiet, but definite creaks of leather straps and the odd clink of chainmail and plate as he inches forward. And the archer has a fairly good bead on where he is now.
What can I see from up top?
You can see Rogar and Goro moving to your right. You can see, or pardon me, to your left, up the ridge. You can see Runt stealthily moving on, trying to pick places to dodge between and picking her movements carefully, and now hunkering down. You can see shadows from behind rocks moving and things like this. You are quite up and down. You're 40 yards, 50 yards to where Rook and Bees would be. So they're sort of 60, 70 yards past that.
I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, so they're down on the valley floor, but I'm just saying,
but they're invisible, so yeah, I don't know where they are.
That's right, but that I'm just,
in relation.
In relation, yeah.
So if I've noticed that the archer has locked onto Rogar, I'm gonna take a stone and try and toss it behind and make a clinking sound to distract them.
Mm-hmm. That sets off a bunch of movement. You can hear weapons draw. You can hear people begin to scatter. You can hear a few yelps. You can hear footfalls as people farther down the track begin to run. And you can see a few children begin to run farther down the road. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to move their attention away from...
Yeah, and you have. Geen, you can see that the 6 other croakers that were with Runt have now been trying to move up on the valley floor towards where Runt's position is.
Okay. Where I'm from to where down they are, how steep is that slope?
20 degrees off 90, so it's like a 50-degree slope.
Okay. Can I surf down it or jump down it?
You may.
Okay.
It's a scree. It's a scree slope, scree and sand. So
that's fine. I got slow fall. I'll just jump down.
And you're able, so that's not challenging for you at all.
Okay. I'll still take a knee and just have an arrow ready for anything that comes out of where I saw those shadows, and if I still have a bead on Runt.
Runt, you hear a hooting sound from above where the cave is, and it's like a whistle, low whistle sound. When this sound comes out, a group of around 15 of these children step into plain sight. They simply emerge from the cave. They emerge from the rest. They lower their weapons. They're still held at the ready, but they're not in a threatening stance. And suddenly, Rook and Bees, you just have this mass of children in front of you.
Still waiting.
One of the figures emerges from the cave, sort of scree slides down the 12 or so feet that they've got to the valley floor, and then walks up to one of the croakers, and it's Clarissa Subtle. So this child walks directly up to Clarissa Subtle and holds out the palm of their hand.
Is there any way that
Clarissa Subtle walks forward and takes it. You had a question? Well,
Is there any way that since I'm still invisible, if I can get past them and start heading into the cave?
the cave is very low, where you had this cache. It was
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
basically just a scrape out the side
Right.
of the rock. Not easily, but I mean you can if you choose to.
No, okay, I'll stay where I am. I'll just wait. Still on the waiting.
In the meantime, Clarissa Subtle turns back to where you are, Runt, and she calls out. She says, it's Brother Slim," she says. And the croaker who she's talking with is a tall, lanky boy figure of 14.
Still waiting.
Okay.
I'm
The-
gonna start trying to move towards Runt very slowly.
Sure. As you,
Um,
as you do, you see the 5 other croakers begin to mingle with these several ahead. Okay.
and if I can get to Runt very slowly and very quietly, I will tap out in Thieves' Cant to see if she can try and get them to follow her like the other ones, because I have a feeling that these are kind of like how Clarissa and the 5 that are with us are.
Invisible hand just tapping.
Runt's gonna go.
Okay.
And
It's B. Try and get them to follow you.
okay, I'm gonna stand up and say, "Hey!" What did they do?
The 5 that were on the boat and Clarissa turn around, and you can see them all speaking to different groups now, and they begin to point at you and nod and seem to be explaining something about who you are and
I want to strut forward.
a semicircle forms around you as more come down, and all told now about, even some of the ones that had run off are starting to sort of filter back in. There's about 30 or so of these children around you. Well, I'll say 25, including the 5 that you brought. So they're gathering around you, and they're sort of touching you, and Brother Slim comes up close to you and says, "You're leading them, and you're here to help us, right?"
I'm leading all of you, and you're here to help me.
You're here to help the ones in the pens?
What's the pants?
You guys don't know about the juicers.
Juices? It sounds gross.
He calls everyone in close, and he says, "Look, we want to get out of here. We got brothers and sisters in the pens in the town. And they're going to be juiced.
Oh.
The squishins."
While this conversation is happening, can Rook, still invisible, make his way around the semicircle and then lean on the back of the rock there?
Yep.
Wait, so they make them into juice?
The witchy Missy, she's needing to come. The Dark Mother's coming, and so the big baddie, Karathur, he's a juicing them. He's juicing them, and all of our brothers, sisters, they get juiced, and I seen it with my own eyes, and so we got the hell out of there, and we've been here waiting for some help or to get out of here because we don't want to get juiced.
I mean, okay, we can help, but we got stuff that we have to do. So you gonna help us? We help you?
You can come and help me get the rest out of the pens, out of the cages. then we can all help you.
Okay, then we have a deal. Once we're happy.
The problem is that they're not super scared, and the dusky ones, they're all around in that town.
The dusty ones.
The dusky ones.
Okay. Well, let me take a second to come up with a plan. Okay? And you all stay here.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when I'll walk back to everybody else and be like, explain that to them, and they'd be like,
What the fuck do we do?
So the only one you can see down the trough is Geen.
Ian, what the fuck do we do?
I don't know.
Where's the spookies? Let's ask them.
I'm gonna look around for the spookies.
Can I hear them from where I'm sitting? Because I'm like in the same spot I was. Then I'll start making my way over there. I'm going to stay invisible while I'm talking though, and be like, I don't know where Brooke is, but I'm here. What's going on?
If I hear that, I'm whacking at it.
Okay.
I'm behind
you're
Runt,
flying off
so
the
he's
handle
gonna
again.
punch Runt in the face.
Okay. So Geen starts to
That's
swing wildly at the air. Or whacking
I
at it.
don't know what that
They're
is.
like, Geen, it's B. I'm not dropping this because they'll kill me. So yeah.
You can hear a clatter of armor as you see Rogar is letting himself down over a rather sharp little lip and then sliding down. At which point, the mass starts to get a little nervous and they're looking at you, Runt, eagerly. Goro is still hunched up
from
at the edge.
from the rock where I'm leaning against, behind this little semicircle of kids, I'm just gonna say without breaking my invisibility,
We should get the big dragon guy to help us. They look big. Who said that? I'm in charge here.
Well, first we have to convince them. I'm going to be whispering. First, we have to convince them to not kill Rook and I, because there's 3 dead Shatterkai over there, and that doesn't bode well for either one of us.
Well, last that I remember, you two don't look like Shatterkai.
Yeah, but the spell only lasts for so long, and right now I look like me, and if I'm just invisible.
And you can't do it again?
I can, but I'm going to burn a bunch of slots doing it.
wait, disguise self? Hold on. Disguise self is not a concentration spell.
Yeah,
So you still look like
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Can't
it's-
keep.
yeah.
I only have so many. I can only cast it so many times.
Well, how long can you
Better.
hold it for?
An hour?
An hour.
It's not going to take an hour to talk to kids. Right,
Yeah,
you can
but-
talk to them best.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but do I want to?
Do you?
I mean, I don't want them to get turned into juice. Although I am curious about what it tastes like.
Oh, then I gag a little. Cool.
Do we really want
So-
to do this, or do we just want to get out of here?
I mean, I want to get
Um,
out of here, but they can
is-
help.
Isn't your sister here somewhere? Isn't she the, whatchamacallit, the Richie Missy?
I don't know. Maybe. But then they talked about what? That dark mother?
Yeah, I don't know if that's her though. Like, I don't.
You were here the most recent out of any one of us, and you don't know anything about what they're been doing or what they were doing before you left. You've
This-
never heard of this dark mother. You've never heard of this
This
witchy Missy?
children thing is kind of new.
What were you in Karathor's horde anyway?
A slave that I'd rather not talk about.
Well, whatever you can talk about, it
Exactly.
better be useful because we need to figure out if we're going to help these kids or get out of here. And I
Yep.
would prefer to not be around here.
The best I can help with is knowing where your sister might be and getting us the hell out of here. It's a lot has happened and changed in 2 years.
To be quite honest, Rund, I don't know if I even want to stay here for very long. I'd rather get out, recollect, and then come back.
I mean,
We're
I'm
not
with you on
prepared
that
for
one.
this.
I
No.
really want to test this juice.
I don't think you want to taste that
Gag
juice.
again.
But let's just
I
go.
think our-
Let's go look. Let's just go peek. Let's just take a peek. We'll take a gander.
The closer we get, though, the more they'll know that we're here.
Do we
but
really
I
want to be
mean-
splitting our attention, though?
Can I hear them talking about this? Or am
Can.
I too far away? I can?
You can pick up bits and pieces of it. Everyone's
When-
fairly tight.
When B says the closer we get there, the more likely they'll know we're here, Rook has a little bit of a panic attack and starts shuffling through his bag really quick, trying to find the bottle of ink.
Okay.
We just lost an entire flying ship with moon magic. I'm pretty sure that means these don't work, this doesn't work, and she doesn't work as well as before. So I'd rather get out of here, figure out what we're going to do, get a little bit stronger, maybe, and then come back.
As you're speaking, Geen, all of you see that the horde of children are moving closer and really taking a good look at Geen, and are whispering amongst themselves and, just wide-eyed.
I can tell you right.
This is my personal bodyguard. So if anybody gets slippy, she will take you out. Do you understand?
And they believe you 100%. You can see they all take a step back and look at you, Geen, with genuine nerves.
I don't look at them.
Yeah, to be
I'm
honest,
just keeping my eyes on Rent.
and I'm gonna look at everybody and say, to be honest, we're better off trying to fight Karathor not here.
And not
This
now.
is his home base. This is his stronghold. This is where his power is. We need to get out of here.
And Runt, I'm all for protecting children or innocent, but do you remember what Rook said before? There's helping a few and there's helping a lot, and I think we can do more and just leave them to what they're doing on their own. We can't get involved in this.
I mean, there kind of is involved right now, right?
Goro is signaling subtly. You see him waving his hand sharply, holding his eyes up and pointing down the track that heads now east and starts to curve north around the Luhix fields.
Guys, why don't we try and get into that cave and we can talk more? I'm really not comfortable with.
So this
out here.
low cave is about 6 feet across, 5 feet deep. It's a scratched in.
That's fine.
Get off
anything,
the ridge, though.
Anything to
Sure.
get out of here and get into some cover.
Okay.
Do you even know where we
I'm
are?
imagining like a crevice like this, right? And like
It's like
ridge down
it's
here.
more like a low set of hills. It's like as if two sandy foothills have fallen away,
Oh, like an old
and-
river valley.
and it's like an old river valley.
Yeah,
that's much
gotcha.
closer
Okay.
to what we're talking about here.
Does Rook see Goro motioning farther up?
Yep.
Can I see where he's pointing?
You can see
Or
that
is it
he's
kind of
pointing
too
at a
high?
figure that's moving towards you. It appears to be an old woman, dwarvish, in white robes.
You'll hear a
Can-
little sparrow.
Can any of
call
us
from
see?
the
You
bridge.
can see Goro looking, but right now Rook's the only one that's tracked past and is actively looking up the track.
Can I walk around and see what he's pointing to?
You can see as your line finds the same route. You can see this figure getting closer, and it's an old woman, white robes,
Does she look familiar to
dwarvish,
me?
large gray braid. Yes,
She looks
Is
blind.
it the harvestress?
high harvestress.
Gotcha. Okay. Does she seem to be walking calmly?
Calmly, has a stick in front of her, sort of tapping the ground. That stick is quite long. You can see that it has a piece of steel that goes down its core for a length of it. You know to be her scythe.
Okay.
And she's got it out in front of her, and you can see that she's tapping the ground in front of her as she walks.
I'm calling Rogar over, and then if she seems to be walking calmly, is that path open?
It opens. In fact, far off in the distance, you can barely make out that it opens wide, and there's a stone wall where the path now joins a road with a wagon track.
Does she look opaque or transparent?
She seems quite solid.
Okay. So I'm calling Rogar over and pointing to the High Harvestress.
You can
I
see
don't
this.
want to go in there if I'm wondering if someone might see me, but I want Rogar to at least know she's there.
Sure, and he sees her. Immediately, you can see that he's interested in joining her. She's regarding this group of children and whatnot, and you can see that then she takes kind of a quiet stance, and she's now about 60, 70 feet away from you. 60, 70 yards. She's quite a ways up. And you see her kneel close to this stone wall, and she appears to sort of let herself down heavily on her staff, and then sit with her back against the stone wall. She's still watching you, and she's just trying to make out what's going on with the other people that are around, but she seems to be...
How close is she to me? We're both in that stone wall.
Yeah, so, Geen, you've moved ahead. Rook, you've moved up to the stone wall?
Well, I was behind the half circle that the kids made with Runt in the middle, leaning on the
Let's
rock
just say,
wall.
for all intents and purposes, you're within 60 to 70 feet. It's probably 60 to 70 yards. You're all, the group of the kids and you're all within sort of a 30-foot area, so I'll say you're 60 yards out.
Can I move up so that I can get as close to her as possible? Say like 20 feet away?
Before
Yep.
Rook goes, can I... Because you dropped your invisibility, right?
No.
You didn't?
She
I
still
thought you
has
said you dropped it.
No, she said concentration on invisibility, not me, so I can't drop it.
Oh, okay. Then I don't hear or notice anything moving closer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I have no clue where Rook is, and does that path, is it like an open path, or is it like
it opens up and
covered?
it starts to flatten out as these walls drop away, and then it's like pasture land and a road and a stone wall that sits about 5 feet high, which now she's leaning against, and the 5-foot high wall would obscure her from whatever's happening on the field, right?
Can I don't know where Rook's going. Can I start walking towards her?
And as you do, you can see that Goro is ghosting you from the top of the bridge.
Okay.
If Geen passes by me, she'll just hear me say it might not be her.
You don't even know who she is.
I know she's I don't mean her. I say it might not be. Sorry, it might not be a friend.
I know her.
If I get close enough, can I, since I know the disguise self spell and I know how the magic works, could I use an action to inspect her appearance and succeed on an investigation check against her, whatever it is? Like, if I'm just trying to see if maybe this is a magic thing.
Sure. Go ahead.
Investigation. I'm not as good at those as I'd like to be, unfortunately. Might not even have to. Yeah, plus 0. Yep. 13.
She seems like a real person. You can see now she's looking at Geen and sort of this broad, muscular face smiles as she sort of takes a deep breath and closes her eyes and sort of smiles and nods. You know, Rogar is quickening his pace now behind you, Geen.
B, you're gonna hear Robin call from where he is.
I'm gonna kneel down in front of her and just say, how? Why?
Oh, my friends, saviors of Harrowdale, I should have known you would be here for the children, she says. I can still see that you're saving innocence.
Again, how? Why?
Well, the good must congregate. But I'm afraid, as I look at that tower, with my heart, I know it's hopeless. It's our worst fears, Geen. As the light of Shah grows in her tower of loss, it can only mean one thing. Miseo will be the vessel. She will welcome the Dark Mother, the mother of trickery and the mother of loss, the mother of mask.
Did you see Misao there?
I know this is where Karathur is, and I know the dark magic that he's using. It hurts my bones. The very earth here is poisoned. Chauntea does not reside here, not at all.
You alone?
I am alone.
Why?
Until now. I had no one else. I'm so glad to find you.
Does she seem injured or she just seems weak?
Tired. A sense of despair and loss across her face. She manages the odd, weak smile as she talks to you.
It's not good for you to be here.
I know. And I should know better. You see, you're here, and you're really nothing against the might of Karathur. You're helpless. You are better to despair.
Insight check on that? Is she just freaked out, or is there like some kind of? Does she like? It sounds like fear, but it also sounds kind of forced.
Okay.
Uh, 17.
You're unsure. It definitely feels
It's like just hammering
seems-
home.
it seems out of-
despair thing.
Yeah. She seems committed to the despair thing.
That'd be normal for the Shadowfell, though.
Rogar now is standing next to you. Goro is starting to move up the rear. Cautiously, the children are beginning to follow the others. Runt, are you moving with the pack of children now, or are you hanging back?
I don't know. Where are they headed?
They're curious. They seem to be moving up as they see Geen, and they're moving closer behind her, wanting to know who this person is.
Yeah, that's cool. They're allowed to do that. I'll just chill.
Several of them are looking at you, looking and choosing to stay with you. Your numbers are growing. There's about easily 11 now that are hanging back, also stroking their chin.
Right beside you, Geen, you'll just hear, "We should get more cover." It's too open.
Geen, when that whisper comes across, still invisible, yes, Rook?
Yep.
You can see that her eyes flit up, and she looks right where that voice came from. And a knowing smile crosses her face.
Just for point of order, I moved behind Rogar and am standing behind him.
Okay.
So you know where I am.
Geen, I see you have more friends.
After losing one.
Well, you've crossed Karathur so many times, it's not surprising. No matter. You're just bugs to him, flies to be swatted away. You're lost, I can see it.
Do you know how to get out of here?
Oh, I do.
Geen, you feel a water canteen in your hand that had the water from the moon well in it. Something's wrong. Something's not right. Try this.
I'll give it to her. Drink this. This
Thank
might
you.
help.
I don't know if it can help. You see, Geen, you and your friends, you're just walking corpses.
Back up.
You're just rotting meat is what I see. You've attracted rats. Hello, Rook. Lovely to see you again. And then, where there was a staff, a flute is raised to her lips, and a sharp crack of a note comes out.
I hate this guy.
You can feel cold head over you, Rook, and the magical invisibility around you begins to waver and dispel.
If Rook told me to back up while that was happening, I'm backing up.
Standing in front of you now, Geen, wreathed in ragged shadow, is the flautist. You know this flautist, Rook, as Sopo.
So Rook is freaking out hard, but he will always fake it till he makes it. So he goes, "Looking ugly as ever, Sopo."
I see. Well, Rook, let's see if we can make you dance, shall we? I take it you still have the kiss of my ink upon you. And he cracks out another note. Why don't you just drop your swords?
I really would love to, but I think I'll just stab you instead. Run.
He takes a step back, trying to evade you, and you can hear him raise his flute, and he begins to play a note in an attempt to cast something. But you are now moving. His attack has failed because you bear no ink and no mark. And the flute, which you know would compel you otherwise, is useless.
And
Geen,
as Rook's running at him, as Rook's running at him, he's going to yell out, "Give back the tower to him!"
Okay, go ahead.
And that's what he says, and then he's running it back.
Okay, all ahead. Everybody can go ahead and roll initiative quickly.
Let's go!
Let me have it. Anybody that's over 20?
22.
22. 15 to 20.
18.
16.
16.
One more time, bees.
16.
16. All right. Rogar rolls last, and the flautist has taken his shot and is sitting there. Okay. Rook, your attack, please.
As he's running toward the flautist, Rook's going to brandish the rapier and twist the handle a little bit. And you're going to hear him say in Celestial, if you speak it, "I need you both." And the sword comes apart into two.
Okay.
The one in his right hand is white, and the one in his left hand is black.
All right.
Spicy.
Sopo is stepping back fast.
And I will attack him with the right-handed one first.
All right.
19 plus 6. I'm hoping that'll hit.
One more time. That's 19.
19, yeah. So a total of 25.
Yes, that hits. Damage, please.
1 8 plus 5. I love that I'm rolling real dice, guys. This is so nice. That's not bad. That is 6. So 6 plus 5. So 11 from the weapon, which is slashing, and then from the sneak attack, which is 2d6, will be 5 and a 1. Okay, so 11 plus 6, so 17. And I will also use a mobile flourish, so I have 10 extra feet of movement, and I will expend 1 bardic inspiration to do a what is it here? That's not it. Oh my gosh. The flourish that increases my AC, so it's an extra bardic inspiration dice, which I think is a d6. So that's 17 plus 5. Nice. So 21. 20
Okay.
22 total damage.
Got it. Okay.
And my
bloodied.
AC increases to 21.
Sounds good. Bloodied, and he is interested in nothing at this point but turning and beginning to run, and he will be holding his flute up as if he's going to toot it again, but before he does, Geen, his back is to you and he is running hard.
I'm taking 2 shots at him.
Okay.
He's running away from everybody?
He's running away from everybody.
Okay. Get away. This one. Okay. Oh, I can math.
I can't.
A 23 and a 21 both to hit.
And both will.
Okay. One of them is gonna be a 6, and the other is gonna be a is an 8 to hit. And at the end of that, as my free action, can I store my bow?
14 damage total.
You want to swap?
Yeah.
14
Yes. So at the end of that, I want to store my bow and just see if people pursue him. I'm not gonna pursue him just outright.
You stop. What happens is he is taken in the back, and you can see him lose his footing suddenly, and he sort of scrambles against the wall. Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. Runt.
I guess how far away are they from me now? Because I stayed back.
Quite a ways. So you're probably now with the running. You're probably 90 yards off.
Okay. Then I'm going to turn to my gaggle and say, "Let's get him!" And then sprint off.
And they nod, draw weapons, and begin to run pell-mell as fast as they can down the track, picking up stragglers as they go, and this mob begins to grow as they're all now clearing the
Army
the
of
back.
children.
Right?
Jesus.
Light the torches, grab the pitchforks.
Yeah, Bees, you can hear this clamor behind you, but it is now your action.
Okay, I'm going to cast a guiding bolt at him. Oof, that's not good. That'll be a... Sorry, I can't math today. That'll be a 13.
Okay, that 13 will connect.
We'll connect. Sweet.
What level?
Just a first level, so that's 14 points of damage. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. The 13 won't connect.
Okay,
Apologies.
so take away the damage. Can I still cast my Spiritual Weapon
Yes.
as my bonus action?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be a 24 to hit.
Okay, that does hit.
And that'll be 9 points of damage.
All right. He is flattened and bleeding and coughing and spitting.
What does your spiritual weapon look like?
Yeah.
It is a great axe.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking it was like a half moon that just spins.
It's a half moon great
No,
axe.
okay.
It's a half moon great.
There you go. It's
There you
like the claw with the, when is it? There it is.
Half moon war pick.
Yeah. Great axe. Nice.
Yeah. So this spins in or appears above him, or how do you want that to come in?
It just appears as it's coming down.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. So he is now all but gone as he groans, turns over, arrows snapping as he rolls over, and they drive further through his chest. And he looks up at you, coughing and sputtering blood. Now, are you still invisible, Bees?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay,
it's
so
not
he
a
looks up at
concentration
where
spell.
he looks at where you would be standing, and he says, "Other bees, I presume." And he gobs up a bunch of black, sick, right? Courtesy of one of Gein's arrows going through his stomach.
I am not even going to give him the courtesy of responding.
Okay.
How high and mighty of you.
Yeah. We should have known you'd be here. You and your friends. A damn barber. And he dies.
If we're out of initiative, Rook is gonna run at the dead body of Sobo, and you see him just.
I mean, we don't see that. We just see his body being sliced in a million pieces.
No, he hit me with the. Oh, did he never? He never dispelled
No,
the
I thought
invisibility. He
he-
just saw it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, all you see is just a body getting hacked to pieces.
Yep.
Oh no!
I-
If I attack, it drops invisibility, right?
No, it doesn't drop it.
Oh no, if you get hit.
Pretty sure if you attack, it drops it.
No, it's if I get hit.
Oh, it's you. If you get attacked, if you attack,
I'm holding the concentration
right.
on it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
Yeah. So Sopo knew you were there. And as he has turned to his own brand of pulpy wonder, the kids slowly gather around you and look down at this gore. Right, some are even bumping into you from behind, wondering what the heck is in front of them.
Can
still
I?
going, and he's still going.
If I see that too, because I heard Rook talk to Sopo, I'll approach and just try to say, "Rook, enough."
If he hears that, he'll spin around, and the black blade will go And just before it hits Geen, I'll just stop.
I
Still
can't see
invisible. Yep.
Yeah,
Still
I know it.
You feel a slight wisp of air sort of brush your nose, Geen.
it. Enough.
And then you'll
Dead.
just hear the sword drop.
And what everybody saw was like popcorn. He was just sort of being flailed open, and sort of chunks are flying open, and he's kind of bursting apart.
Once, yeah, once Brooke is done with his temper tantrum, I would like to grab the loot and try and snap it in half.
I missed that.
I want to get. I want to grab the loot and try and
flute?
break it, or the flute, whatever it is, and try and break it because I don't want this thing to exist anymore.
Okay, yeah, this is the pair for your ink, Rook, and so you snatch up the flute, and you are welcome to do it.
And if I can't snap it, I'm going to ask Brogar to because he's probably stronger than I.
Okay.
Strength. Want me to roll
Are you
first?
visible now at this point when you're
No.
handing? Okay, so this flute floats up into the air. Everybody gasps and takes a few steps back. It seems to come down a couple of times. Go ahead and see what we can manage here.
Strength check.
It's so for invisibility, just so we know, the spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell. So
So it's dropped.
it's dropped, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If we both attacked. Anything the target wearing is carrying is visible as long as it's on the target's person. The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I attacked. So
So
yeah,
you
it
want to
would
break
be dropped.
something? Go ahead.
That is a dirty 20.
Oh yeah. So this flute shatters over your knee. The vial of ink that is in your on your satchel, Rook, suddenly explodes and shatters and falls to the ground, staining whatever is around it in whatever bag it is in. But it's as though it like was disrupted on a molecular level for a moment, just went and sort of as an energy wave was cast through it.
So once I shatter the flute, I'm going to look at everybody and go, and now we need to get out of here.
Do we need to hide the body?
The body is sort of looks as though it's gone through a leaf shredder or a wood chipper. So it's sort of, the kids begin to kind of kick it up against the wall and cast some gravel and some rock on it. As you do, I'm actually going to have the four of you just roll perception very quickly for me. Or give me passive if you prefer.
Just rolled a 19, but my passive is 17 is my passive.
23.
I rolled 19, so
18.
In your heightened space, anybody
17.
anybody over a 15 is able to now
Oh, yeah.
clearly see the town site over this this now lowland rise, and you can see the hill off to your side with this great tower on it, and the purple light has now progressed, and it appears to be about a little over a third of the way up, and it continues to rise.
yeah, we still look like orcs.
And you still look like orcs.
We do.
Several of the croakers are turning to you, Runt, and asking if it's time to go free the others.
You know what? How about you let me figure that out? And how about you shut your face and let me do my job, okay?
Meekly, they kind of back off.
I will let you know when it's time.
While I'm still standing next to Rook after he dropped his sword, I'm just gonna ask, do you think what he said is true? About my sister? about this vessel for a Dark Mother, about how we're not enough for Karathor, that we're just measly flies.
How much does Rook know about Shar?
Fair amount. You know that she's the mother of Mask. Bees, you're also quite aware. You can go ahead and you can roll religion for me if you want.
Sure.
Whoever'd like.
While Gina's speaking, I'm gonna move over kind of because I'm like not really next to her. I'm gonna kind of like move a little bit closer to her.
I only rolled a 15, so not that good.
Rolled a
Yeah,
7.
but the 15 is enough to know that Shar was the. You have some experience with Mask, and so Shar is arguably the creator of the Shadowfell. This was one of the planes that she would inhabit. And the Dark Mother fits.
But the fact that Gein's alluding to that they're going to use her sister as like a body to bring a deity into the Shadowfell, is that like something that would sound utterly insane, or would it be like would that sound like something right under Karathor's umbrella?
Given the cult-like existence of Karathor and never being so like too open with his motives, it starts to sort of slip into place that if indeed a religious order was worshiping that deity, who seems to have been ejected from this plane a while back, it kind of follows that would be the kind of thing that an evil group of dudes would want to do. Dudes and
So yeah, Gein Brooke will say to Gein, I mean, sounds like evil to me.
How could it be evil? I mean, isn't Mask someone you look towards? I mean, you have that necklace.
Yeah, he is. Not everyone loves their mother. I don't know. I just know that the voices that keep talking to me are way clearer here than they are back in where we were. And I'd like them to be muddy again.
Do you think this is going to happen soon? I don't know how much you know about these types of things, but do you think it would be happening sometime soon?
I don't know, but there's an itch in the back of my head every time I look at that purple light. And the fact that they're collecting kids. Hey, Runt, what did that kid call it? Juicing them?
Yes, it's the best some squeezy.
the brother Slim is standing next to you now, Runt, and he's nodding. He's just squishing him.
Yeah.
Do you know where that light was yesterday, the day before that? Was it lower down? Or has it stayed the same the whole time?
As soon as the squishing started, and it was only, it's like a day, and it was nothing. And now the rock is growing.
Blood magic. I'm gonna move next to Rook and
magic.
start tapping on his hand.
To make those portals?
We was all told to come here. We're gonna have a big party, and so we came. But when we did, the dusky ones, they started throwing us in the boxes.
They take souls. That's why they need the mirrors.
Yeah. Did you write your name on a mirror?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't write my name.
Well, yeah.
We all had mirrors, and they're all
Okay.
nodding.
Okay. So,
Jacob Freeze is my name.
Okay. We
Is it almost like the closer that they get to the city, the more lucid they get? Because when we were in the town, they were pretty just like rabid animal kind of croaking. But now that we're closer to the Shadowfell and closer to that tower, is it almost like they're getting like a clearer rendition of who they were, or more clarity about what's going on? Or...
You see levels of intelligence varying among these kids. You see, it doesn't always follow age either. It's just, it seems to be somewhat random. But for instance, Brother Slim is better spoken, more well spoken than say Clarissa Subtle.
Almost like their ability modifier is higher.
Something to that effect, yes.
Maybe they rolled well. NPCs.
Rook, do you know where a portal is?
Not off the top of my head, but he definitely does.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen the ships sailing back the way they came.
Through the
Our
fog.
best bet is through that fog. Our closest bet is through that fog.
Rook's gonna take a big swig of the water bottle that Jean was offering to before the image changed.
I had dropped that if all
Oh, you
that
did?
happened. Yeah, I mean, like, I shot a bow.
Yeah,
like,
true,
I
yeah.
can't.
I'll go back and get it. Come back.
Before the big baddie had us locked up, he made us go and take all of the mushrooms and all of the weed, and we packed it all onto his boats that we came in on, and they've been leaving all day. And gold, lots of gold, and cheese. I don't know what the cheese is for. And we packed it onto the boats, and they've been leaving all day.
He is technically a merchant. It's not unusual for him to have shipments. This is just coming out of my knowledge.
We were told we would take over the towns. Now it's only the Duskies. They're getting on the boats and they're going.
How many
Hundreds
Duskies are
of
on
them.
that boat? Or on one boat?
120 on every boat.
We can't take over a boat with 120.
They're gone. They're through the fog.
No.
We can turn into different Shatterkai. We don't have to be ourselves.
That's why we're going back to the pens, because there's only like 20, 30 Duskies around the pens.
Yeah,
All the other ones are sailing off.
It's an
I still want to take off.
It's an advanced move. He's moving troops into our old realm. And at the same time, betting that light's going to reach the top of the tower. Enough sacrifices being made. He's trying to time it.
So we
Yeah.
stay and try and stop the light and take on 30 Shatterkai.
I'm not gonna lie, if you want a shot at saving her sister, this might be the only way to do it. Once
I don't know
Shar
if she's
takes
gonna
her
save.
over, there's no shot.
So sometimes I feel like it's too late, regardless.
I don't even know if it's too late. When I left, there was a darkness that had come over her already, but I know nothing about it other than what we know right now.
Goro is standing next to you now, Keen.
In Thieves' Cant, Rook tells Geen, maybe we should tell them everything.
What?
Dean or B?
Oh, B, sorry.
I can't.
I'd really rather not relive those memories.
I'm gonna get to Slim, dude, kid, person, and just look at his face and say, in that tower, did you see this?
Missy.
Now?
Yeah. Nanny Bertha's got her up in a cage.
What do you guys call it in common? A heist.
A
Are we
breakout?
going to do this?
Prison break.
You want to
Wait.
bust her out?
Do you think that's possible with all of these children?
It might actually be easier.
This is not
mean-
children. This is an army. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Every
With
one of the
their
kids around Runt in a radiating circle as he says that stands up and puffs out their chest, and they stamp their feet, square their things and bring their weapons up to their chest, and just nod.
Did
You have a
you,
goal and you have a prize. Chaos is your friend.
So
Slim? Did you also see somebody blue in there?
Oh yeah,
Okay. So she's in there. The hag's in there. Misau's in there.
two
Two blues?
blues.
Okay, two blues are in there. Bertha's in there, Misau's in there, and about 20 to 30
The
Shadowkai
priests.
plus children.
No, it's mostly the priests in there. They're all men and evil women. They're in there with their masks, and the cut ones are in there. But the Duskies are down in the town, and they're guarding the cages, and they're taking them up.
how much of a distraction do we think that Runt's army could make and pull as many people out of there as possible? Like how big of a boom do you think you guys could make?
You're gonna have to have some magics though, because all the Duskies have us in those green glowing cages.
That's a good question. B, how did you feel when you did that? Did you feel weaker or the same?
When I did, sorry, which thing?
When you were attacking Sobo, did you feel weaker or the same as before?
Probably about the same.
So that means that her
Spectre
magic
weapon's
is
still there.
Well, our boat, which was taken over by moon magic, died when we got through that fog. That means something prevented it from working.
Yeah.
If B's magic is given to her by that same goddess thing, I'm worried that whatever magic we can do, it might be a little bit weaker than when we were on that island.
Yeah, that's why KT needs the juice, yeah? Because he pours it over the white thing.
White thing. Can you describe the white thing?
Yeah, big marble.
Big marble?
Yeah.
Some moves.
I mean, I probably have enough juice to dispel the magic on the cages, but I have a feeling my magic might just be a little unreliable right now.
Also, what's the relationship like between most of the Shatterkai and Karathur? Like, since it's sort of an enslavement, if Rook's mulling over in his brain, what's the probability of them having to face every other Dusk Elf, or the probability of some of them moving with us if they see that something's going to happen?
Well, the ink's not going to work anymore.
No, I mean the ones that aren't necessarily inked, because they weren't all inked. I only did it for the people that were actually in Karathur's army. Oh yeah, I used to tattoo. He kind of looks again like, yeah, I used to tattoo the troops.
Oro whispers something in your ear, Geen, and then takes a step back.
Good idea. I'm gonna pull it out.
And sorry, your question, Rook, one more time.
Rook's just mulling in his brain. What was the relationship like between the Shatterkai and Karathur? Like, did he like have a hold on them, or was it like sort of half and half? Like there was some who were either indentured slaves like us, or some that joined up out of like pure fealty, and some that are just sitting on the fence. Like,
the Shatterkai that are with you, they're mercenary in many ways. They're not here so much for religious reasons. They're here to forward their own aims through Karathur.
right? Okay,
promised riches, promised power.
So there is a chance, although slim, that if Rook can show that his plan will fail, that some of those Shatterkai might jump ship. If Rook can show that Karathor's plan is going in the opposite direction.
Some of that, yeah, you're not sure if they're all here for. You wouldn't say that they're acolytes. Let's put
They're
it
not
that
all
way.
Sobo.
They're yeah. I don't know.
I was just trying to figure out, like, back when I was here, if I met some that were more just, I'm here.
Some of them are very self-serving,
Okay.
very chaotic, very or very neutral kind of thing, right? Like,
That rings a bell.
yeah. So,
Okay. All right.
We didn't have
they're
much of a
not. They're
choice
not.
anyway.
They're not beyond looking after their own skin. Most of them.
So we can make a big enough impact.
I'm gonna
That'll take
turn to Goro after he whispered to me and just say, will it stop their magic as well? Will it stop everyone's? I mean, it stopped the High Harvestress's binds on a man. If they're nearby when I use it, will it hurt them too?
Your father's bowl is for dispelling illusions and loosening bonds.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out my little. No. I'm gonna pull out my little pouch and fish out my little bowl and stick and just kind of hold it out like this and just say, I have this. And it can dispel what he just said. So we can use this somehow in there.
It can dispel
Illusions
not-
and bonds.
and bonds. It's not
And it won't affect me and at all.
It'd probably drop this. I'm gonna do this to her face. If that's illusion magic.
It is.
It caused bonds from the harvestress on a man who was tied down and was affected by Lou Higgs. So if it can do that, it can maybe work in there as well.
As
I'm
you've been
just gonna
talking,
throw this out there.
yeah. As you've been talking,
I've said we've kind of moved back.
yeah.
Back-
One of you,
Yeah, I
one of
think
you may notice, but you can still hear sort of crackling energy and whatnot, and very imperceptibly. But you become aware that the level on the side of the tower is continuing to creep up, and it may have moved
so-
a few feet up the tower now.
So I know we need to do this. Like, we need to stop this. But just understand, losing this is not as big of a deal for him as it is for me. And this could bring about some wrath that we may not want to face tonight.
If I may, Geen, says Goro, it has a limited range. It's whatever's within 30, 40 feet of it. Your father used it to keep his study safe.
This could work.
Prying
Okay,
ears.
this could work.
Can anybody use it? Or just of the family?
It is the sound.
So we have a range of 30 to 40 feet. This could work. Okay, this could definitely work. We can stand far enough back.
I can.
Rook turns to Goro and says, "Does it sound anything like this?" And he just kind of waves his hand a little bit like this, and then I'm going to use prestidigitation to just make that sound of I'm guessing that's what it is like a what do they call
I mean,
it?
you tap it and then you
Yeah,
go
and it's
around.
Yep.
Meditation bowl.
And you can hear that ring, and Goro nods.
some serious magic. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. That might work. That will actually work.
I can get in there quickly. The question is, we're using this for the cages and to see if anyone's nearby those cages.
You're
Slim,
gonna
are
need
those-
someone to call the shots,
Are those
says Brother Slim, and he looks at you, Runt.
Slim? Are those cages inside the tower or outside?
Town Square.
Town square. So away from the tower.
Yeah,
I
bottom of the
say,
hill.
I say we blow their fucking houses up. We just light everything on fire.
I'm gonna bend into the ground that's near it. Just bend down. Is it sort of like packed earth or is it sandy? Is it can it draw on it with like a dagger?
Road. Yep, gravel road. Sand road.
Jacob, Slim, whatever. Draw out what the town square looks like for me, please, mate.
Yep.
Does this
He-
mean we have to split up?
He draws the tower. He draws a road down the hillside from the tower. It looks like the road would take 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your clip, to climb up, and you can sort of matches what you're seeing. B, as you see this, is relatively, it's approximating the map that you have. The town square is a low set of buildings in indescript, Shatterkai kind of Shadowfell type low cabins and hovels, and a large town square that leads out onto a dockyard. And the dockyard wasn't there as big as it is now, but you can see that as he draws it, there's there's two large docks that head out into the lake where they were loading this, and then he draws 5 boxes. And then he says, those were the 5 that were left. I don't know how many of them are full anymore.
Runt's got a really good idea. We burn them out. We burn the opposite side of town. Far
Yeah,
away in the opposite
I
direction.
take my little group of savage warriors and we go start some fires. And then while they're dealing with us, you guys go set everybody free.
Not a bad idea.
Except for one thing. They're not going to trust us unless we have some of them with us. So, how about we take Slim?
Yeah, okay, you take some good buddy over here.
How about you
Actually-
take us
actually-
all? He says.
Well,
Even better, Runt, I join you. Geen and B go to the cages.
I can make
You
us
and I
invisible.
make a big distraction.
But
with
one of
fun
us
the kids.
has to pick the locks, right?
No, this was
The magic?
The magic.
I'll take care of the cages.
Okay.
And not only that, but if I'm there with a bunch of, sorry of the term, croakers, they'll come running straight toward us. You already
So-
saw that one Shadowkai reacted to me being in there earlier.
So after letting everyone out and after setting those fires, are we rushing towards the tower as a group? Are we actually going into this tower to stop this? You said B, we should.
I mean, if we can get the children out and get them out of the Shadowfell, we wouldn't need to get into the tower.
We're taking all that blood
for now.
away. So
For now.
we start the fires, we release the children, kill whoever still needs to be killed, and make for a boat.
Make for the boats, yeah.
Okay,
The only problem is we're going to be leaving your sister behind.
that's fine.
If
I can
that means
accept
there's
that.
If that means there's no blood left for any more, magic bullshit, and maybe she'll be safe for that.
Goro has a problem with this.
What?
Shar enters this world, and it's only a step away from Kozakura. It's only a step away from Faerun.
But they can't bring her if they don't have blood.
Cut off the supply lines. That's how you choke them out.
Mm-hmm.
we take all the children back home, and at least they're delayed for a little bit longer, and we can get reinforcements or whatever we need, and then possibly come back.
How much blood do they already have?
Look at the tower.
Into the tower.
See how fast it's rising. Long before it reaches the top.
The longer we wait, the more they're going to take children from those cages.
Yeah, and they've been squishing for like 3 days.
So I'm going to chime in. So while I know it's not ideal to leave Nisei out here, we need to get Karathor to meet us not in the Shadowfell.
I've come
meet
to
him in the other land.
I've come to accept that we can't take Misao right now, and that's fine. But we need to go now and take whatever's left.
Keen, how comfortable are you with being invisible?
Never done it before, other than... So, sure.
They've already squashed it. Like, there was close to 2,000 of us, and they've already squashed lots and lots.
So, all right, are we ready to go? Because we need to get moving.
If you two are going together with the children to set fires, and we are going to try to release the kids, Rogar and Goro should acquire a boat.
If they can, yeah.
If they can.
And I would suggest taking one of the kids with you guys too as well, just to reassure them that they're actually part of the team.
Okay.
And
we can make a decision when we get closer. If Slim just said that they had about 2,000 children, and we see how many's left, they probably would need all of them, would they? I mean, why
2,000 or 20?
He said 2,000.
2,000?
So why keep kids here? I mean, would they bring too many that they would need? If we leave, even with the children, will they still have had enough in that tower?
We could majorly cut off their supply lines at.
We have already.
He got a big.
It's a moonstone.
He said inside the tower, there's this cruncher. It's up on top of a lot of the goblins, we made it this big steel column. Yeah?
I'm not comfortable fighting in that tower with
tank.
2 Onis and a hag.
Yeah.
So we're not going in that tower.
Not ready for that.
And possibly Karathor, because we don't even know if he's here right now or not. It's
then we need to go. We go.
All right, let's move.
Runt.
And I'm gonna look at Keen and say, when we get closer, that's when we'll go invisible.
Okay.
Just
Do we need to
realize
stay
that
near each other?
Not once we're invisible, but once you activate that bowl, you're gonna be seen.
Okay.
Me and Runt get to spill a ton of blood.
Will that really dispel invisibility by doing that?
Mhm.
Is that
An illusion magic.
It's an illusion magic.
okay? Well, that's fine. I can direct children and stay, and then I can catch up. I can run. So that's fine.
Okay.
So.
Well, you're faster than I am, so.
Mhm.
You begin
So
to.
I can stay.
Okay. Is there anything that? So who's heading over the wall?
We're
2
heading-
groups. 3 groups.
Okay.
Goro and Rogar for the boat, if they can. Runt and I and most of the kids for the other side of town, away from the center of town.
Okay.
And then Ian and B, as well as, I guess, a couple of the kids, just to reassure them toward the cages.
Rook, should we release the children as soon as the fire starts? Or try and do it before?
If you can get in and there's no guards watching, then before. But if you see people around watching, wait for them to run off.
Okay.
So just so I have this square, Goro. The plan is that Goro and Rogar will make for the boats. Geen and B will go for the cages.
Mm-hmm.
Runt and Rook will set fires. Okay.
with the
highest
majority
level
of the
in-
children.
Yeah. What's the highest level of invisibility you can pull? B.
Third.
How many people is that?
2.
All right. So, if you're to head over the wall, you will
Yeah.
have a straight line across the fields to the town. If you follow this road to the north, it'll take you to the base of the hill, where it'll join up with a track that goes up to the tower. If you go the other way, of course, you're going to go towards the kids. If
I
you
think we're trying to head in the general direction of the dock, a part of town, and the
dock is on the other side of the town from where you are. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to head in that direction.
Okay.
But we want to light the fires in the opposite direction to where
When you hit the town
cages
site.
are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not. These are fields, so it's not terribly far away. It's sort of a semicircle from where the boat, the Moon Maiden, is. Do you want to just describe to me quickly how you're going to travel across this empty, now barren Luhix field?
Do we all need to go across this field, or should B and I go down the road invisible?
Yep. Casting invisibility. Or invisible.
Okay. The road will arc north, so it'll be roughly twice the distance than straight across. Okay.
Well, I mean, we could always burn the field on the way too.
It's empty.
It's largely okay. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Everything is. The field looks like it is not. Nobody's planning to grow anything in it immediately here.
As slow as it will be for you guys to creep towards the city, we might be able to make it if it's going to take us twice as long to get there. And we can go at a faster pace if we're invisible.
yeah, you can just flat out run. No, yeah,
Well, we can run. You'll be faster than I am.
But if that Soulful guy saw you, even though both of you were invisible, will there be others who could also see us?
He saw us when he played his flute, right? He had to actually.
No.
he saw me before.
Yeah, just talking.
I would still stay as hidden as you can, as if you are visible, but at least you have the added benefit of being invisible.
Okay.
Mm.
Not everyone has tattoos. Not everyone has flutes.
Then, while going down the road with B, I'm gonna hold onto my katana and just kind of be ready for anything that comes to us.
So the two groups, which will eventually become three, move. The horde of croakers begins to move behind you. They're traveling primarily with you, Rook and Runt, right? Or are they heading in? They're heading with Rook and Runt. You are unopposed across this field. It's as though there's windswept. You see literally no movement. You don't see much movement in the town. Low buildings, 30 or so of them. Not dense, just sort of sparsed around.
Yeah, we're trying to stay as stealthy as possible as we're passing between houses if we can.
Who has the best eyesight of Rook, Runt, Goro, and Rogar?
Oh shoot! I should have done the thing. I didn't do the thing.
Well, I mean,
I now have 300 feet of dark vision.
So I'm going to say Elven. Elven sight will allow you to pick out a couple of features. Very quickly, Goro seems to see the same thing, and that is the white block sails that were in the dock are now quite a ways away from the town and heading. One of them has already disappeared into the mist. Two are very close to the mist wall. No other large sails appear. And as you move closer, you get glimpses of the town center. Now you can see the odd Shatterkai moving around at a distance, but primarily they seem to be around these glowing cubes, these cages. The other thing that you see, and Bees and Geen will also see this as they're heading up, is a large column of approximately 200 croakers being led up by a large contingent of Shatterkai and a blue figure at the very head. They have already begun to reach. They're up the winding track and already have begun to reach the base of the tower.
Have we started to reach the housing part of it, or are we still kind of in the field area? Or...
So I just want to check in, Luna, you heard that last bit? Okay, so as you arc around, two things have become apparent. One is that the sails that were there before are heading towards the fog wall. One boat has disappeared in, the other two are well off the dock and on their way. With your fine sight, Rook, you can see that the decks are piled with goods and full of fighters. The other thing is that snaking out of the town and up the hillside is a column of about 200 croakers. Around 10 to 15 Shatterkai flank both sides, and they are led by a blue figure far up on the side of the hill, now just reaching the base of the temple. Okay, you reach the house, and you reach the edge of the houses. You can see now clearly about 4 to 5 Shatterkai that you can pick out, circled around the cages. 2 of the cages appear empty. The third cage seems to house about 200 children in it.
How close are those Shatterkai to where our group is?
You are through 2 alleys and a few, two alleys, 2 streets kind of thing. So you're roughly a block and a half away from the town center. Sorry, that's too much. Pardon me. 2 streets, 2 alleys, if you want to think. 3 rows of houses in, right?
I mean, I've got like 10 torches in my bag, so what do you want to do, Rent?
How about we separate them into groups, like, little groups, and we make them go start fires places.
That works.
Like here, and here.
And point to 3 of them.
Okay. Did somebody give Goro or Rogar the bowl? You've got it. Okay.
I have it.
All right.
They were trying for a boat of any sort, but if they can't see one there.
And so they are, you've all agreed now that they're moving with you because they've seen the boat.
They're with us, okay.
Yeah. And so
They're so loud.
How far away is the nearest Shatterkai?
Where are you? Are you in the outer edge of the town?
Yeah.
Go past 3 houses towards the center of the town. You'll hit the first one that you can see.
I'm going to cast Disguise Self, make myself look like Stobo.
Okay.
Holding the flute. And I will use my bonus action dash and movement just to go 90 feet as quick as I can and pull around the corner of one of the houses where the nearest Shatterkai is and say, "You there! Take the others and help the contingent!" And then I'll wait for him to respond and then turn around and run as fast as I can back.
He seems to look back and wonder what, and you can hear him call. He's like, "Are we taking this lot?"
No, I will take them. You take the others. I must go. You go help the contingent that is already up there. Look how many there are, and then I'll go back.
All right. He takes 3 of the 6 now that you see are remaining, and he begins to head up the track at a jog.
Did I stutter? I said all of you. I can take care of some children. Fuck off.
2 are at the dockside, and 1 is now sort of looking at you and watching you, right? And says, we've Karathor said, "Watch the cages." We watch the cages.
Oh, you're so much prettier when you're dead. Fine. Leave 1 at the docks to watch the docks in the cage. You can see the forces are being laid into the boat. The rest of you, go up there, or I will tell an Oni you said her hair looked terrible.
All right.
Or maybe I'll play.
Why don't you go ahead and roll deception, please?
Oh. Okay, not great, but hopefully with my... I gotta go check my skills. Deception. Where are you? There. Okay, deception was too bad. +6. So 14 + 6. So dirty 20.
Ooh, yeah. So he, okay, yeah, all right. We're getting close anyway. I'm sure that they want to make sure this last batch gets up there.
Yes, of course.
He just needs to. You guys, he wants a little bit of insurance, and he begins to jog up the track.
And I'll turn around and run back toward the where Runt is.
As you do, you can see him head past. He's like, "We've been doing this for 3 days. 2,000 damn imps." He says, "We're on the home stretch anyway." But he starts heading up, and you can see that now the 200 or so that are in the cages and the 200 that are in that column. And you look up to the tower, and it's probably at 55, 60%.
So I go to Runt. Yeah, I know I look weird. Just it's me. Okay, it's me. Trust me. Just do your thing. Make chaos reign. I don't know. Do something. I bought us a little bit of time.
Give me the torches.
But hand it over. That's all of them.
Then I'm going to start lighting them and passing them out. I'm going to say,
Light everything on fire! Ah!
and I'm going to take off running with my own torch, lighting things on fire randomly.
And then I'm going to turn to one of the kids as they're running past and be like, "No more juicing." and then run in the opposite direction with one torch to light something on fire.
We are the most. This is the kids in the cages.
No, these are the kids that we brought with us.
That we brought with us to go start fires.
Okay, fair enough. As the column is heading and winding up this tract, it's crossing the road that you're coming down, Geen and Bees. You see these late coming Shatterkai meet the last ones as they're heading up, and the one piece of information that you hear said in Dusk Elf Bees is, "We were told he didn't need any more. I don't know what the big rush is." He's already filled that blasted tank of his.
I'm gonna whisper extremely quietly so only Geen can hear me. Apparently the tank is full. Wait, does Geen understand? Oh, Geen, hold on, no, I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna try it because I know what Goro is. I'm gonna say it's Sylvan. And see if she understands me. I'm gonna take a risk.
I understand her.
Fire is licking over the rooftops now. You can hear a familiar sort of cackle. And some yelling and some screaming seem to be going on between the Shatterkai that are there as they're sort of, wondering what to do, only being the two of them or the three of them that are left. The column that is now past you and is heading up the side of the mountain sees this, and the 5 extra that are at the back begin to urge the column along, and are screaming out, "The town's on fire! Double time!" And you start seeing this column marching, and they're spear pointing the croakers up as a bell begins to peal in the town.
I'm gonna whisper to Geen and Sylvan again because I've noticed we need to find Rook something.
Do we still let the kids out first, and then I can find Rook?
I think we need to find now.
I should mention one last thing. The children, as they passed by you, were shackled. Okay. Were any of you in the hag's lair?
Only Runt, but they told us about them being chained.
Okay, green chains extend between the feet and the wrists of these children. Okay, and that snakes up.
Would Rook have surmised that when the Shatterkai that he was talking to said that they already have enough? I don't know, like when he said,
You didn't hear that.
No. Earlier on, though, he said we've been doing this for 3 more days. At least this is the last batch, or something like that.
Yeah.
Would he have been able to figure out that he means including the kids in the cages, or he means just that group that's going up?
One more time, please.
Would Rook be smart enough to know that the Shatterkai he talked to meant that, there's only this last day left? Would he be able to determine it means including those kids in the cages, or that they already have enough in the line?
Sure. So, with the 400 kids that you had seen, and with what you were told about there being 2,000, you can surmise that about 1,500 have been juiced. And that's been going on, and apparently there's a large tank. What this juice is used for, other than, there's a marble, that there's a hag, there's a cage, and that the walls are glowing blue on this 900-foot structure. Purple.
How far away would Geen and B be at this point?
They are approaching the town's edge if they kept at their same pace. So they've passed the end of this fork in the road, and they're only, 100 yards from the town's edge if they're still moving at stealth.
I want to talk to B, by the way, just after that's done.
Yeah, okay, never mind. It's too late now. All right.
Okay.
Please, Luna, you see this column continue to wind up. You see the fires licking off. You are wherever you want to be between the fork and the town's edge.
Okay, then I'm assuming B and I have been near each other since we've been whispering to each other, and I'll just kind of whisper back to her. How about we do a little bit more chaos in this? I get close to that column, ring the bell, let those kids loose, and then make it for town as fast as I can. Try and let those kids in the cages out, and then make it for Rook.
Do it quick.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm following you. I'm behind
You need to stay away because this will make illusion magic drop. So you should stay away
Is it like
from
a 30-foot cone, or a 30-foot circle, or a 30-foot area, or
area cube.
Okay.
I think that's what
I'm gonna go 40 feet back just to be safe.
Okay.
I'm
Heading up to the column, you want to put yourself within 15 feet from the end, so you're sort of got 15 feet on either side.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, Runt, as she is moving this way, one thing you do notice is between and around the periphery of the town center are large piles of short swords, bows, axes, halberds, these kind of things. Okay. So that's the other scene that I want to make sure you're aware of.
arms.
You move up to this column and tell me what happens.
I'm gonna get what I believe is to be close enough yet far, like, for this to work, and then I'll just go ahead. I'm gonna ring that bell real loud, and as soon as I see the green, I'm hoping the green chains disappear, and I'm assuming that I also appear as this is happening, because this dispels all that illusion and bonds, and I see the confusion. I'm just gonna be yelling out real loud, "Run!"
Yep.
And I'm gonna step of the wind, book it towards town.
There were 10 Shatterkai spread along the column. There were 5 extra drawn there by Rook. So at the back of the column, you have roughly, on the latter half of the column, you've got roughly 10 Shatterkai spread, grouped at the back. You move past them, you move to the side of the column, and you make to ring your bell. You ring the bell loud. Waves of energy head out from you. Immediately, your illusion of invisibility is dropped. The green bonds of the children flicker and then wisp away as if they're washed away by the wind. And you can see many of them begin to panic. You can see the Shatterkai realize what has just happened. These are unarmed children, and the Shatterkai regard you, see you. 2 of them begin to head up the column towards you. One that's farther up tries to head down towards you. The rest, though, are swamped by this wave of children sort of rushing away. And the Shatterkai that are not the three that are trained on you begin to mow them down as fast as they can, right? Lopping off heads and sticking them and basically just doing as much damage as these children rush past them. Several, though, of the children will gang up on the guards when they see this, and they're collapsing over them, and they're now starting to pummel them. And Shatterkai are very gifted, but when you've got 20 or 30 imps on you, it's like a wave of angry croaker. So they're beginning to fight back, and some of the Shatterkai are still on their feet. A few have been taken off.
Yeah, I booked it towards town, heading towards those cages. 135 feet a second.
Yeah, you are already running, and Bees, you can see that with a couple of futile swipes as she passes, three of them are turning, trying to reach her. One of them is unable to, as he's washed over by a wave of croakers.
I'm parkouring.
I'm following, but I'm going to circumvent them as much as I can. So like stay in my 40-foot line and just like come around them. But I'm not going to be nearly as fast as she is. So I'm going to, when I get that last 30 feet to the town line, I'm just going to bamf.
Okay. But half of the croakers have made for the docks, and so this wave of children are heading into this. They're not quite keeping up with you two, but they're damn close. And so there's just sort of, you're at the front of this group running. Geen, you enter the town square. You can see that these three full cages are left, or two full, one partially full. Two empty cages stand there, still glowing green but empty. And you catch sight of three Shatterkai that are ahead of you, trying to figure out what to do, and they're in a small group. They're quite a ways away, just sitting on the edge of or standing near the edge of the dock.
Ooh, when I get 40 feet within those cages, I'm ringing that bell.
Okay, and you can see that Rogar and Goro have come out from the shadows, and they are now rushing the Shatterkai that are pursuing you. Okay?
Okay, and I'll yell to those kids that get out of those cages, fight back, and then I'm going to look for Rook.
I'm going to be sparrow calling as much as I can, trying to get Rook's attention.
Run. Your contingent of croakers is head straight up to the cages, and you can see them talking to the individuals that are starting to come out, and they're yelling at them, pointing them towards the piles of weapons, pointing at you, saying it's time. And the three cages begin to flicker, and one of them still is partially there, but a big circular chunk has been taken out of it, and immediately these croakers begin to make for these piles of weapons and arm themselves. Then they turn on the three Shatterkai that are on the dock, and they are there is a wall of children that are heading there towards the Shatterkai, and then a bunch of them sort of are standing around and decide to make for the fields away from the town, and they begin to organize and start to move, heading away from the tower. Some of them are still sort of hanging on, waiting to hear what's going on, looking at Runt, looking at Slim, and seem to be waiting for instruction as the smoke around them thickens.
Did we say how far away the closest boat in the bay was to the docks?
You now see that the last sail is just heading into this fog bank. The fog bank appears to be somewhere in the order of 1,200 yards away, meters away. It's well off the edge of it's sort of towards the center of this inland, or this lake, right?
And there's no way that our boat is going to be able to fly again. Moving.
Your boat flies in the moonlight.
Which there's none in the Shadowfell.
There is no moon in the Shadowfell.
And there's nothing else at the docks. No rowboats. No,
there's no rowboats in there. There appears to be one fishing craft. It's kind of a round, kind of basket-shaped thing with a small paddle for tending to the dock or doing something along those lines.
I'll see if I can find. If I hear that sparrow call, I'll see if I can find B. Are you still invisible?
She is,
Yeah, but you'll see Geen,
Okay, yeah.
because Geen's invisibility's dropped.
Right. Okay. I'll head
And
for
as
that.
soon as I see Rook, I'm booking it for him.
Same. As soon as we see him.
All right. The scene as it is right now is that most of you are beginning to congregate near or around the town center. Runt, where do we see you?
I am looking for someone to kill.
Okay, you were able to join this group that headed for these 3 Shatterkai. One of them turns tail and begins to run towards the other side of the town, and there's a copse of trees there, and he is pumping his legs as fast as he can. From the buildings emerge a couple more Shatterkai, and they seem to be seeing the panic, seeing this mob, and also heading out. When you glance behind you, there are no fewer than 120 angry children brandishing all manner of weaponry.
After him!
And they are there. Clarissa Subtle raises her sword and cries, "Blood!" and begins to race next to you. Brother Slim is not far behind.
Can I get them to start chanting "Scary Feather"?
They just do that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, have we met up with Rick yet?
Yes, you were standing in the.
Okay.
If I make it to Rook first, since I'm assuming I got down there faster than B, then I'm just gonna run up to him and tell him their tank is full. I don't know why they need more kids, but whatever's happening in that tower, I think they have enough for it. Is there a boat?
There's no way off.
I'm gonna make it up there and be like panting.
We have to either make for another. I'm guessing the panting air with nothing there is my sister. We're gonna have to either make it to another portal somewhere in the other part of Shadowfell, or we're gonna have to go for the tower now.
We're gonna have to probably go for it now, because if they bring Shar here, we're screwed.
Going in there, we're all so screwed. But
Well,
at least we can give a fight for it.
I mean, if you think about it this way, if Shar comes here, we're dead, and if we don't make it in the tower, we're dead.
And if we stay here, we're dead.
Yeah.
So, where's Runt? Can you send a message to Runt? We need to head to that tower now with everyone.
I don't have any 3rd level slots.
I mean, can we see Runt and her attacking?
No, you hear the clash of steel. Runt, you are now engaged with an older Shatterkai as you have weapons fighting with you as you surround this guy being snarled at and stuck. The other 2 are facing the same fate, and one of them has already gone down.
Are there any Shatterkai heading toward the tower?
The 3 that you managed to, or the 2 that were left around the cages and a few extra have sort of shown up. The ones that had already gone to the tower past Geen. As you look up on the hillside, you can see that the column, what was left of it still shackled, has been led into some sort of a courtyard. You can now see that there's a gate of some sort up there. The Shatterkai that were left from that contingent, there appears to be about 15 of them, are forming a line on the road. Sort of in front of that gate, and you can see a blue form among them.
So, if there's 3 or 4 Shatterkai that are kind of just around us in the town area that are just sort of kind of into chaos, the kids or anything like that?
Runt's friends are there's losses, but they are overwhelming these Shatterkai.
I can go find Runt. You and Rogar and Goro-san, everyone go to that tower. I'll tell Runt, and then I'll catch up with you.
Standing, bleeding, and
15 people.
Bleeding in front of you is this older Shatterkai captain. He has a scimitar, and he is. The children have now cleared, and he's been stuck a couple of times, and he's looking directly at you, Runt. And the kids are looking at you too. He limps slowly in a circle with blood coming down over his knee and into his boot, and it begins to squelch as he takes a step.
Had to come sometime, miss? Death will come for us all, but I'm not sure I want to live in the world that is being offered to me right now, so maybe you're doing me a favor.
Okay. I want to step in.
All right.
Okay.
His instincts are still there, and he will parry and feint, so go ahead.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Yeah, that hits.
Ooh.
Do you want to... Is it a double attack?
Oh, yeah, I have 2, that's right.
And he is engaged with your allies.
Okay. So that's 17.
He lunges forward in the first attack. As you can see that he's sort of parrying these other things. That's when you step in. You're able to circle around him. You are able to score 2 hits.
Okay, so
Double those dice.
yeah. Let's see, so 8 plus 18 points of damage.
You stick him several times, having rushed to his elbow, and he grimaces as more blood begins to erupt from his side. Now that blood is turning black as it rolls down over his kneecap and soaks his pants. He will swing with a wide arcing swing over your head, and rolling a 13.
Miss.
That is his one attack as he staggers backwards, still reeling you. And now the kids begin to push him into the center of the ring as they're watching the spectacle of you take on the captain. And he's shot his shot, so it's up to you again.
Okay, I'm going to put one hand behind my back and tell him to come on. Give him a free shot.
He raises a hand and he begins to mutter something.
Oh, that's not good.
Magic.
Did you want to do anything? Or you...
No, I'm gonna wait.
Okay. Immediately a spectral animal forms in front of him, and it appears to be some sort of a large crab. And the crab begins to scuttle forward and reaches out for you with its claws.
Okay. Can I snap my fingers at my peeps and point to the crab and see if they get that they're supposed to stop it?
It takes no time at all for them to tear this thing apart. You've never seen a spectral crab overwhelmed and ripped, but literally, if there was, the only way the scene could be more complete is if there was garlic butter passed around as they just tear this thing apart, right? An overwhelming mob, 90 people just tearing at this thing. They withdraw again as if the ocean goes, leaves the beach, and now this guy is sort of standing there, not sure what he should do. He drops his hand to his side.
I want to kill him.
And he just watches it come at this point.
All right. And 16.
At the last minute, he attempts to dodge. However, you catch him squarely.
Yay. So that's 4, 5, 6 points with the first attack.
coughing up blood, he drops to a knee.
Is he still alive?
You get that sneak attack on that too?
He coughs
Not on that
twice.
one.
He coughs twice. A cheering erupts around you, and whether or not he's dead completely, it seems to be your mob now is hoisting you up and cheering you on. You can see that Clarissa Subtle has your hand waving in the air. That's when you see various scraps of Shatterkai being passed around the crowd. No more spectral crab. That's long gone. Okay?
That's buttered elf.
So this is just a teeming, like an ant mound that's would go at a moth or something, right? Geen, you were looking for Runt. You have followed this, and you witness this spectacle as you see him raised above the heads of these children.
Her.
I say he? Her. You saw her raised above the heads of these children.
I'm gonna try to either get close to her or make eye contact with her.
You do, and Runt, you're looking down at Geen.
I'm gonna yell to my group.
Bring me the eyes of the captain.
One walks up to you and takes it out of his mouth and sort of half chewed and hands it to you. Another one's just sort of swallowing, and then he
I'm gonna cut out his eyeball.
Okay, you lash out at this one's eyeball. They set you down. He takes the wound, drops, and seems to whimper for a bit and sort of slinks back. And you can hear him say, I'm so sorry, and sort of slinks away.
Okay, I'll go for Geen after I put these eyeballs in my pockets.
And none of the children seem terribly fussed by that scene. Okay? Okay. You make your way through to Geen.
Did
Crowd
not need to
parting.
see that? There's no boats. We need to get to that tower now. Bring everyone you can. We're making for the tower.
All right, everybody, we're moving out.
Okay.
Following Geen.
Can I
So-
use prestidigitation to make my voice sound larger? No, I can't. Okay.
This entire group begins to reel. Now, where are you taking them? Are you taking them back to the town square to meet up with Rook and Bees? Are you heading through the houses? Where are you leading them, Ron?
Well,
We've already
I'm either-
started making our way to the tower.
Okay.
Yeah, I've started walking toward that. You said there was that line of Shatterkai at the gate, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start making my way there. I still look like Sobo.
Okay. Upon seeing Sobo, many of the kids give you a very wide berth, right? And they're looking nervously at Runt, and they're positioning you between you. They're kind of, the entire mass has moved around. You can see on the hillside up this tract, you can see that there is this line of elves is stealing themselves. But you are able to stride forward. Runt, if you're at the head of this column, there is a mass of goblin behind you, or pardon me, of kids behind you. Croakers behind you.
As we get closer to the line of Shatterkai, I'm still looking at Sobo, and I'm gonna still have the flute kind of swinging in my hand, like I intend to start playing it maybe. And then as I get closer, I'm just going to yell to the 15 Shatterkai and be like, what am I gonna say? You! And I'll point at the Oni. You did not tell us the whole plan for your dark mother. You were to use us next. All of us! And I point to all the Shatterkai and be like, it wasn't enough. They needed the elves too. The Dusk Elves would be killed after they were finished with these little gremlins. And I'll point back at the Oni and go, she knew. And I'll just pick the flute up as if I'm going to start playing it and look toward the Oni.
So
That's all I got. I'm just bluffing my way to, I don't know what. It is what it is.
One Shatterkai turns to the Oni in a questioning way. The others sort of glance at you and look. Go ahead and roll deception, please.
Oh, that's cocked. Better? I think we'll be okay. I rolled an 18.
Great.
So with my actual skill, I think that's a 24. Deception.
Of the
24, yes.
Of the 12 that are up there, you have 6 that turn to the Oni and say, "What is he talking about?" Right?
You should kill her. Kill her before she makes another sound.
You have the other 6 that are not so convinced, and the Oni that is not so convinced. The Oni immediately grabs 2 of the Shatterkai, and this large male Oni reaches out with his hands, laughs, and crushes 2 heads like this, right? And drops them.
I rest my case.
He points his hand and he says,
Listen to Marzu. He lies.
And one attempts to flee and soon finds a dagger in his back and then a quick finish. The other 3 nervously fall back into line, but they do not appear convinced at all that they should be there. And you are getting closer and closer, and the
I've stopped
horde,
moving after I said that.
okay, and the
Yeah.
horde of children stack up behind you, right? The Oni sees this and is sore. Well, it's putting on a smile for sure, as the purple in the tower continues to rise and is now somewhere around the 70% mark.
I'm gonna say, well, it seems you're not convinced, so maybe I should throw this cannon fodder at you first.
You hear this runt?
Yes. I'm assuming he's lying because I know that he's lying about the first part, so I'm assuming he's lying about the second part.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to play the role of him, but anyway.
Yeah.
I think there should be no more of this juicing. Wouldn't you agree, young ones?
Meet Hook, scary feather. Meet Hook, scary feather. Meet Hook, scary feather. Meet Hook, scary feather. Meet
I just
Hook,
point
scary
at-
feather, and they're all thumping the ground.
I
Right.
point at the Oni and I say, "Scary Feather wants him dead."
They all look at you. Runt.
Okay.
Okay.
And I want to lead the charge.
The Oni turns as if to go inside and begins to head on this plateau that you can't quite see what's at the top of. You charge up over the top.
How far away is the Oni at that point, by the way? When I have my hand pointed at him?
You're only 50 feet, 60 feet apart. The Oni now is turned just over the edge of this lip and is heading in.
If I can still see him, I'd like to cast Hold Person on him, which is a 60-foot range.
Sure. And we're going to go in the same. So that's your first action. Geen, you're the. Go ahead and do that. And Geen, what did you want to do?
Oh, well, as soon as he turned his back, I wanted to take some shots at him
Okay.
from the back.
So this happens near simultaneously. So go ahead, Rook. Roll your.
You have to roll a saving throw.
Thank
It's
you.
only a DC 14.
Fails.
That means King's arrows are critical hits.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Unless an Oni is not. Are you counting Oni as humanoids by any chance?
It's now.
Okay. Okay.
So, wait.
Anything you hit is critical, so you double everything. Every single attack is a
Do
critical.
I get to roll at advantage if he's
Yes.
being held?
Yes.
Yep. Armor class
Alright.
16.
First one is going to be 21 to hit. Second one is going to be... Armor class is what?
16. 1-6.
16 to hit, so both hit.
And he's away from you. This is back.
Sweet. So, okay. Only double the damage die.
Yeah, just
Okay.
damage. So.
So, I'm using Kinsey shot in there as
And
well.
no moon juice on this.
That's
right?
fine. Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine. So 4 times 6, 8.
That also counts for all the kids too, as well.
8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 3. So, 10 plus 3 is 13. So altogether, it's only 29 damage.
Not bad though. Really good.
But it's not as good as when we were on the island.
He will take that hit, and you see him. He's not moving, so he is now just over the Shatterkai as this wave of croakers hits him. Are you standing pat, or are you moving up?
I will start to move up, and as I say to the Shatterkai, I'll be, join me and less Dusk Elves will die. And I just start walking toward the Oni.
All right. You start to round the top of the hill, and as you do approach the Oni, this is what all of you see. At the top of this hill, there appears to be corrals that are on either side of the road. On one side of those corrals are croakers. On the other side of those corrals appears to be a screeching mass of pussy, human-faced maggots that you know are the soul larvae that you saw on the island. You can see that there are acolytes in white masks that are gaff hooking these maggots and taking them inside. You can see that there's acolytes on the other side, which are leading children in a fairly steady stream. You can see inside the base of the tower to a small extent. And what you can see is that from your vantage point, there's a staircase, which both maggots and children are being led up. It appears to be an iron staircase on the far side away from the door. But what's immediately in front of you, before your view, just through the doorway? And bees, when you see this, you understand what it is. 12 foot high, in an alabaster light rock, which you are very familiar with. A small glow as moonlight attempts to escape a steady wash of black ichor that is being poured over top of it by acolytes of Shar, bailing buckets of blood and muck, mopping around the edge of this. And in your soul and in your mind, as a cleric of Shar, you hear this relic screaming in torment, as if Shar's very soul is pieced and parsed and here, trying to escape. And this blood wash is an absolute sacrilege to you.
I'm going to cast Moonbeam, and my invisibility will drop, and it's 120 feet, so I should be able to get it on the guys that are dumping blood.
All right.
Right? I should be? Okay.
There are a few people dumping blood that you can see in front of you. You can just see it's like it's a wash of red, black coming down, washing all around it.
It's a 5-foot cylinder. So I'm going to get as many of them as I can into the
Do you need to see the point of origin of the cylinder? Because you can't see you can't see the top of this marble yet, really. Or at least you can't see much above it, right?
I mean, if I can see them, I can cast it on them.
Okay.
So I just need to be able to see them. And it's a con 15 save.
All right. So, and what's your distance to cast that?
120 feet.
Yeah, so you were on the edge of this road, full melee, goblins fighting Shatterkai. Runt, you're in there getting the odd stick. They're being routed and chased away. You're seeing a few of the acolytes join the fight with gaff hooks starting to swing at the children. You see what's left of the column that came up, hastily packed into this other corral. You're shooting over them, and down comes the moonbeam. Right? It hits the bloody side of this marble right? And you can see that some of this black ichor rises up to meet it and then evaporates and sort of rushes away on the floor and coats the sides of the inside of the castle, the inside of this tower. And it's as if a surge of purple energy, when it breaks against the side of this tower and then begins to wash up. And you can see for a moment this surge of purple energy heads all the way up to the fill line of where this thing has reached so far on this onyx structure. Okay, what's your damage as we look at...
So it's a 2nd level. I don't know if the moon relic will help anything. Not very much. It's 5.
2nd level 5 damage?
Yep, 5 damage. It's 2d10.
Okay, well that does a fair amount of damage to this scantily clad person in a mask. Appears to be a man. Luhic scars across his chest. He thumps his chest twice, and this scary black mask goes in a flat run for you. Okay?
Cool. Oh, it's a 40-foot high cylinder, so if anybody's above him, it'll get them too. Sorry.
Yeah, you didn't see anything
5-foot
above.
Radius.
You heard a scream from somebody you assumed was on a ladder or something.
Wait, I read this wrong. Sorry, it's a 5-foot radius, so it's a 10-foot diameter.
10-foot diameter.
So
the marble's about 12, and so you're gonna catch this first guy and somebody who's up above in an area where you can't see.
Let him come at me, because at least they stop.
Running towards you, this figure drops the mop that is cast in blood and begins to sprint towards you. Rogar moves in front of you to block this guy's charge and stills himself with a blade. As he passes, you can see Rogar takes a swipe at this unarmed individual who's now carrying a gaff hook that he took off one of the other acolytes. Rogar's blade slices cleanly through, and this guy staggers and then grinds to a halt on his knees in front of you, and he looks up at you. Rogar then joins you at his side as he looks down on this bleeding guy whose arms are hanging next to you. And the man says, "Thank you." Is anyone near Geen? Where are you in relation to B?
I mean, I would have followed everybody into the tower if
They're not in the tower at this point.
No, this is outside.
No? I'm going to say you're close enough. Runt, or do you want to be close to bees at this point?
I was trying to kill the Oni.
Yeah, you're headed the charge.
Okay, you're on the Oni. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, for interest's sake, Geen, this voice is familiar. And you see the figure drop to its shoulder and then roll over, holding its bowels as they're sort of coming out.
Yeah.
And again it says, "Thank you, Rogar." Rogar appears to recognize this and stands still, looking at his clawed hands. Geen, you're now next to his side. You see this downed individual in front of you. This is all happening very quickly.
Oh boy.
The mask is hanging ever so slightly off a bearded face.
Human?
Yes.
Can I take the mask off?
You regard the face you have not seen since you were on the North Shore, North Road, above the Moonsea. It is the merchant who defended his family, now with Luhix. The merchant who holds a blood contract with Rogar.
Oh, shit.
Realizing this, you turn, and Rogar looks down at you with a smile and says, "I'm sorry." And his scales begin to fall off his body, and a bright red light courses through his veins as the blood contract that he had signed with Peter Mournhell to not harm him, regardless of circumstance, is enacted.
Can I
His
try
eyes are
reaching-
burned from their sockets. to dust in front of you as his armor clatters aside. It's then from inside the room you see another Oni standing. Chishioa regards you for a moment, smiles, and then casually turns away as the acolytes continue their dark work and don't appear to regard you. They just continue to bathe this large white marble in its dark red ichor. Crackling energy is heard from within. The shouts, a male voice.
Bring me more. I will not run out.
The cackle of a hag's voice. And the whimper of a sister's voice. And the purple magic energy climbs another foot. And that's where we'll stop.
Oh, that was
Damn.
such a
Man,
dip.
I gotta think about how this is gonna affect Runt, man. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm really glad she wasn't there to see that.
Yeah, but
Ugh.
Geen saw it. Oh man.
Yeah,
She
oh
sees
my God.
2 people die.
Poor Geen.
One person leave the.
Dean has really just borne the brunt of all the shittiest stuff to happen.
Man,
This
Poor
from
girl.
Shar, right? The mother of
Trickery.
and torment.
Char does not like Geen. Whew.
yeah.
Yeah.
At this
We'll see
point,
if it's
I'm gonna.
personal.
At this point, I feel like she's just gonna kamikaze at everything. There's nothing left. What?
You are
There's
at the
still
foot.
Runt.
You
No,
were
there's still
within.
Runt.
You were within voice range of Karathor, his forces depleted, heading else somewhere, and you are the underdogs, no doubt about it.
Give us a level.
But he is within. He is within mere meters of you at this point. And the one thing I would say that Geen hears above everything else is that familiar whimper.
Mm-hmm.
Still melodic, still the
I'm gonna have to
pure
remember
tones
that movie.
of her sister's singing voice. All right. So I
That's
guess
crazy.
we better take a look as we head into a rather tough one. Who's holding some inspiration and who might
It's
land
time
on
for
some
the
more?
magic beans. Ho! It's time for the magic beans. Ha! Time for the magic. Time for the magic. Let's see who gets the magic beans.
So let's see where we land. When we last left, we had Geen. You had gained. You were 6 plus. Sorry, Alpha Beads. You were 6 plus 3 over 2 sessions, so you're at 9. Geen, you're at 3. Runt, you have inspiration plus 8, and Rook, you are plus 8. Okay. We are going to open it up to our friends on Twitch, and so let's see what they have to say as we go around the table. Let's use the same order. And actually, you know what? We're going to mix it up. That sucked for Geen. So let's start with Luna, please.
Man. Oh, man. You're just like trauma child. If you don't take a couple levels in Warlock right now for the Edgelord, I will be so disappointed in you.
Oh,
Some patron, come for me.
Oh, please.
Let
I'm
me
ready.
give you my soul. I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to Rent for commanding the troops and having the gall to just have at it.
All right. So, Runt, you are now inspiration plus 9.
oh boy. I gotta use some inspiration,
Yeah, you're doubling up real soon.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go to Rook next.
Well, I was going to give it to Rogar. But that feels a little bit melted away now. I don't know. So I will give it to Geen because of the trauma. just the ER levels of unfortunateness
the ER
that he's dealing with in the next session. It's gonna be a long 2 weeks, folks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Rebecca.
And now I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm gonna give it to Geen. I have to. There's just no other option. I just caused a lot of damage that was not intended.
All right.
Oh yeah, that was your fault completely and utterly. It had nothing to do with Rogar.
Awesome. Okay. And Shady.
Well, I would like to give it to Geen, but I'm not going to because, damn it, that poor girl doesn't need any more pity. So I'm going to give it to Rook for that awesome bluff as we were heading towards the wall of
The gambler.
Yeah, that was good. I like
that was also good. Yeah.
I'm glad the hold person worked. If that had failed, I don't.
Well, 100% from our friends online, that would be Runt. You are now sitting at Shady. You are sitting at 2 inspirations clean.
Oh boy.
double inspiration. Oh boy,
Yeah.
I gotta spend them. I've been rolling well, so I haven't needed to.
Yeah, we were really lucky this session. I don't think we had a single crit fail this session, which was
No,
great.
I don't think so.
Sounds good. I am going to think seriously about what you are all dealing with. And I will be in touch with some instruction between now and the next session.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's exciting.
Oh man.
Oh, snap.
Let's go ahead and just I guess we're ready to say goodnight. It was kind of a bit of a tiring one. So I hope you had fun, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good one. All the best, everybody. Take it easy. That one was that I didn't even like that end for Rogar. So anyway, there you go. See you soon.
Yes.
That's why you don't go making blood packs.
Night.
Right?